You know that music, and you know what time it is. We don't demonstrate, bitch, we penetrate. Diving deeper, dialogue unlimited. I am the splash specialist. He is the dive instructor. And we are about to go deep. If you ain't got your gear, you about to get drowned. So put it on and let's go deep into this shit. Shout out to the Swable Room crew and its affiliates. Ya dig. What's
Pete,
going on with it?
welcome. Man, this is your host, Handsome Mandela, and your co-host, Jay.Drewz. Or in reverse, whichever way you see it, it doesn't matter. We doing this, y'all. It's happening. We finally on. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes,
What's
indeed.
happening?
Hey, man, we're just going to chop it up again like we always do. You brought up an interesting topic the other day, so we're going to roll with that in that direction, you know?
Yeah. Basically, it's talking about how they're using different types of tactics. Not tactics, but yeah, it is actually tactics, but different types of things to get us addicted, more or less, to certain things that we happen to see to distract us from what's really going on. And we want to get into that because there's different ways and avenues that they do that. You know what I'm saying? And let's just be real. The biggest drug in this world is attention.
Yeah, attention, fame.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why you got people online on these social media platforms doing the absolute most for likes, views, and comments
Facts.
for free.
For free. Just
You know
for
what I'm saying? Just for the attention.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the absolute most.
Absolute most.
Unnecessarily, just for attention.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, and of course, they know that. You know what I'm saying? The powers that be know that. And I mean, this has been going on for years, decades. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Decades upon decades. And I mean, it's been going on for so long that it's not even being realized that it's being used against us. You know what I'm saying? This isn't just some go with the flow type action. This is all allegedly planned. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, even down to the algorithms that you look at on the internet. Like if you type something in, all of a sudden it'll pop up on your phone and an advertisement on something. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Yeah, man. That's why I was just looking at an article that I just shared to our chat so we could both look at it. But yeah, data mining, man. You know, this is what's running the crypto. Let me make sure I say it correctly. It's like the undergirding, right? The support of the of certain cryptocurrencies is, what the data that they mine from us, and how they break it down into categories so that they can utilize it in various ways to get our attention.
Word.
Yeah, man. You hit the nail on the head, though, man. Attention is it's like the highest form of addiction. That's when people say fame, but it's the attention that comes with the fame. You got people, you got celebrities walking in a place. People treat them like a human being, and they walk out disappointed. Like, did you have a good time? Oh, it was okay. I just thought more people would have noticed who I am.
But at the same sense, when they get mauled by people, I just want to be normal.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it? What you want?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and then if you noticed, I mean, shoot, some people, famous people, and I'm not putting out any names or anything because it's not just one person or one group of people. A lot of people do it once their fame or the attention starts to dwindle away from them,
Yeah.
do something rash again or something bomb. You know what I'm saying? Something
Oh yeah.
crazy, now out the ordinary to get you to come right back to them,
Yeah.
get talking about them again. So yeah, man, that's that attention.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, man. It's it's a thing. It's a big thing. So when it comes to social media, it's like everyone's platform, but at the same time, you notice some people at times forget that this is not their platform, meaning they didn't create it, uh, they didn't build it, they're a part of it. You know what I mean? But it's not all. It's not
Hmm.
centered around what their ideology or thought process or beliefs are. You know,
Hmm.
so
Exactly. Exactly. And that's wild too, because I mean, you get caught up in this world and this metaverse world, this this virtual reality world.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, I get it. It's social media. And yeah, the goal is to be social, but some people take that as, hey, this is my time to get fame because there may have been, or not even just to get fame, to get that viral moment so I can be noticed by everyone and have all that attention on me. So then that way I can display more of my talents or lack thereof. I'm
that
just,
part.
dude,
Yeah,
how
you're
many
right.
people you seen and how many people you seen that have gone viral and you ain't heard from them since? They done had their little moment and
True.
you haven't heard from them since.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those. And then there, like you said, the lack thereof. I've come across some videos like that went viral, and it's like, what am I watching? You know, no offense, but it's like, what is special about what this person is doing? Or yeah, in some instances, now, okay, like some of the dance challenges, you know, you and I, you know, our background, dancers, hip hop, you know, rappers, vocalists, writers, all that. But it's like, what am I looking at? Some of these videos, the people are only watching because they need a good laugh. But the only sad part is when the person that's posting the video doesn't intend it in that way. Like they're trying, like really trying, you know. And it takes all sorts. You know what I mean in this life, and we need to check around
Yeah.
again.
It's either they take it, they don't they don't post it in that intent because they are trying, or in the same sense, they don't post it in that sense and they are trying. But now that I got your attention,
That
I'm
part.
just gonna do something else. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
So yeah, I mean it's you could say it's a vicious cycle because at the same time, and I've heard this term used so many times, but yet it still keeps happening. Like, and again, I don't say this, and this is just a term that I've heard. So And these views are not really used by the Schwable Room team or anybody from Deeper Dives Dialogue Unlimited. We just heard this shit in the streets or on social media. Back to regularly scheduled programming. I've heard people say a lot of times that, hey, why do we keep making stupid people famous?
Yeah, I wonder. It puts me in the remembrance of Johnny Carson used to have a segment in his show, Stupid Human Tricks.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Way ahead of his time in that regard. I don't know if he was the that was his brain baby, but he presented it very well, and it was extremely funny.
Indeed, it was. But at the same time, some of those stupid human tricks actually took a skill.
True.
Like what we're seeing now is more savant like.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It's just
you're
like,
right.
oh, you just stumbled onto this, and now it just so happened to be at the right place, time, and it was funny, and somebody caught it on camera.
True. Yeah. Very true indeed.
And now you really can't even say somebody caught it on camera because hell, cameras is everywhere now. So you just got caught on camera doing something out the box at the right place and time, and in the possibly in the right lighting.
Right. Right on. Right on. Um, so let's talk a little bit about how this seeking after attention, addiction to the limelight, how does this feed into machine learning, artificial intelligence, and the ability to use it for suggestive advertising or suggestive uh, recruitment into the purchase of or to the consumption, let's put it away, to a consumer market. um, how big of a role do you see this attention seeking uh, in connection to that?
I don't see it get any smaller. I mean, honestly, with this I see it getting even bigger and more precise. To be quite honest with you, it's gonna be down to a science. It's probably going to be, of course, it's going to be more vivid. You know what I'm saying? But also, it can be a whole lot more dangerous now too, because again, as you stated, with AI and the machine, all you have to do is tell it what to do, how to do it, what speed to do it in, whose voice to do it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the ads, I'm sure, of different celebrities, including the former president, speaking about different products or services, and you can clearly tell that is not actually them.
Mm-hmm.
The voice almost sounds like them because it's several different bites. It may be even some instances several hundred to several thousand sound bites of that person saying different words that it's piecing together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Frankenstein's vocal
It's kind
monster.
of it's almost like a digital collage that's moving.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and yeah, it's already here. So with that, imagine this: finding out things about people you know and love, or think you know, but love, that you would have never known if an ad didn't come on. It pops up on their phone and it starts playing. You know, call your doctor to set up your appointment to get your Cialis. Da, 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 da. just a one conversation about maybe, you know, a whack performance instance or something. Just,
Not even that. Somebody who's seeing some lady named Alice.
hmm?
Somebody who, yeah, I see Alice over there chilling.
That's right up there with Motisa.
That's what I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
bruh, I mean it's
Wow.
ooh,
That's
bruh.
crazy. Yeah.
Just imagine somebody. Just imagine this AI taking on like what people are telling it to do with accents.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's bruh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we're there. We're there, and even if we haven't seen some of it, it's coming. Like tomorrow. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Um, Interesting articles I wanted to share. Let's see here. Let's check this data mining, how data mining works guide. Let's see. Hold on. I might need that. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have a good grasp of this, but not everyone per se. And some people don't really care, and that's fine too. But the data mining is the process of understanding data through cleaning raw data, finding patterns, creating models, and testing those models. It includes statistics, machine learning, and database systems. Data mining often includes multiple data projects, so it's easy to confuse it with analytics. Data governance and other data processes. This guide will define data mining, share its benefits and challenges, and review how data mining works. So, data mining is or has a long history. It has emerged with computing in the 1960s through the 1980s. So these are things that have been developed, over 40 to 50 years. Just like we always hear with certain conspiracy theorists and this, that, and the other. Well, because it's based on actual data and the actual documentation of how these things transpire. So let's see here. 1960s, 1980s. Historically, data mining was an intensive manual coding process. And it still involves coding ability and knowledgeable specialists to clean, process, and interpret data mining results for today. Data specialists need statistical knowledge and some programming language knowledge to complete data mining techniques accurately. And so it goes into some more examples here. Um, what you got? What you got to say on that, Hanson Mandela?
Bruh. And again, you see it's been going on for years. And what was the part about it? It could be confused with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there tells you that the shit ain't perfect.
Correct.
So any type of minor mistake, any minor uh push of a wrong key.
Sure.
I mean, could we even possibly go back and say that I don't even want to say prehistoric because that's just that doesn't even make sense, but early forms of data mining would be uh like it's on the tip of my tongue because I just heard it today while I was listening to an audio book. What they did in the library, how they kept all the information with that as far as like with the books and stuff with the putting the cards up and all that stuff. It's
Oh,
the
the
tip of my
indexing.
tongue that
My bad.
I mean Nah, I could not have been could not have been a form of data. That could be an early form of data mining.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of this is based on the human mind. They've mapped the brain, but they can't really map the mind. You know, and for those who are on a journey, spiritually, self-discovery, etc., practice making your brain servant to your mind. Don't let your brain run your mind all over the place. But
Man,
we're talking about mining, right? And it kind of sounds like minding, minding your own business, your thoughts that you keep, that you
it depend
express.
on it depend on what tone you say it in.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to your point of to add on to what you just said, coincidentally, uh, I want to say at the beginning of this month, I actually started doing that myself. Um, I took a cleanse on television. So as of right now, I haven't watched TV. I haven't watched a TV program since April 4th. I'm doing it for a month. I'm doing a cleanse on TV. The only thing that I will watch is an actual uh instructional or something that's informative that I can learn an actual skill from on YouTube. Other than that, I haven't watched TV at all, buddy.
Yeah.
Not one program. I mean, if it's on, I'll listen, but I'm not focused on it.
I feel that. I mean, that's part of the what I've been doing is a parasite cleanse, but I've been fasting. I've been abstaining from certain things. Now, of course, I have my little I don't call it cheat days, but I have my days where I go back to you know what's comfortable just for a day, or a couple hours out of the day. But yeah, just trying to find that balance and keep that spiritual growth going. Um,
I
it's
don't
the
know if
big
I've
thing.
said this on this program before, but I was reading a book. I just finished listening to it again. Where the guy's talking about callousing your mind.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you callous your mind,
Yeah,
and it'll help you perform in ways that you never thought that you could before. You know what I'm saying?
so
So I mean, and
callousing your mind, what's that consist of for the
like
audience?
mainly like mental toughness, for getting
Right.
getting a thicker skin, basically.
Makes
And then
sense.
on top of that, holding yourself accountable to things that you may set yourself, goals that you may set but do not accomplish type things. Yeah, I mean, it's you got to do that nowadays, especially nowadays, because with all this stuff coming at you, getting you addicted to it, it's making your brain mush. You're not learning nothing. You might know
Facts.
you might know everything that goes on in one of these commercials for you might know all the side effects to one of these drugs that they show you in one of these commercials. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But something that I'm not going to say that that's not important, but something else that is of the same importance or relevance in another vein, you have no clue on.
Mm.
And sometimes you may think, well, maybe I'm in my own world. No, you're really not in your own world. It's just that they just keep throwing this stuff at you and keep throwing it at you and keep throwing it at you until you don't even realize that it's being thrown at you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's so constant that to take notice of it all throughout the day, every day, day in and day out, is almost maddening, And so people need to really consider taking specific time periods where they can do without it
Yeah.
and develop that mental callus as you were referring to. Whoever authored that book, shout out. I need to read that.
It's
I'd
called
love to read that.
I'm gonna tell you now, it's called the book is called Can't Hurt Me. You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Oh yeah, I kind of feel it when you said okay. When you said
Yeah.
callousing the mind, I'm like I've heard.
Yeah.
That's exactly who popped in my head. He's been in
Yep.
so many interviews that I have watched, but I want to read his words unfiltered. You know what I mean?
But
Interrupted.
honestly, I'm telling you, like you might want to get the audio book because the audio book is like it's a book, but then it's like they speak on it, they like go over the chapters, and then it's like a podcast all in one. It's really dope how they have it set up for real.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
will. I will take that recommendation. I'll do so. Yeah. That. But yeah, man. These things also. That's a good point to tie in. Is when you're constantly inundated with someone pushing an agenda, whether it's just to sell you something or it's to steal your entire identity. It's seeping into all levels of the consciousness in your mind, and it is being rehearsed subconsciously, most definitely,
Hmm.
no matter what else is going on in front of you. So, being inundated and bombarded like that, it's got to have an effect on your
Right.
lifestyle. uh, you know it's got to affect at least making you second guess certain choices that you would have otherwise just made succinctly as needed, like, you know what I mean. It might cause
Right.
that delay, that decay. um so yeah, that's also a good point. Definitely shout out David Goggins for sure. Definitely a mentally tough individual, physically. Yeah, he's changed his
All the
body.
way
He's
around,
he's
bro.
he's met he's done the metamorphosis and then some.
All the way around, man.
Indeed, shout out to him. Big ups to
Definitely.
him. Yeah.
Definitely.
Um. So aside from data mining, another thing that we constantly hear about in one way, shape, or form is predictive programming.
Hmm.
Um. And so I've brought this article up. Let's see. It is by we'll see here in just a second. Where is this located? So this is on the Ohio State University, osu.edu, if people want to check it out. The psychology of extraordinary beliefs, ordinary students exploring extraordinary beliefs. So predictive programming, this article is from several years ago, 2018, but I'm just catching this. But they've dropped some names here, which I was okay, not shocked because as formerly being a resident of Columbus and Franklin County, Ohio, at one point, I'm very familiar with their excellent library system. Even outside of the campus libraries, they have excellent libraries, and they would carry any and almost every kind of book you could imagine on some level. So um, I'll just jump into the article for a brief second, and then we'll go further in discussion. But predictive programming is a theory that the government or other higher ups are using fictional movies or books as a mass mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. This was first described and proposed by researcher Alan Watt, who defines predictive programming as a predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning, provided that provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes to be implemented by our leaders. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening possible public resistance and commotion. Would, let's see, who was it referring to? Would, okay. I think it meant Watt. Then it was popularized by Alex Jones and David Icke. The most notable cases of predictive programming are the examples found in The Simpsons, The Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and the oldest being from Futility. Information can be found on blog posts, and many conspiracy theorists have either made videos on it or have spoken on the subject. It's a mouthful. So, in reaction to this, a theorist. Theory is one of the highest forms of postulation within the scientific realm. So when people try to dispel the exposing of cognitive conditioning, some people like to call it mind control. Some refer to it, as this article does, predictive programming. This has been documented and made public. These aren't theories. These are higher than theory. And theory is like the highest form of postulation within the scientific realm, pretty much. At least it used to be, according to, my meager education. And when there's evidence of a conspiracy, likely there's a conspiracy. So those two things kind of just go hand in hand. And they've been demonized because they've literally in the last 30 years been trying to dial back everything we already saw them do. And when I say they, we can use your imagination. I don't have time to go into that today. But most of our audience, I think, would surmise who they are. There's always a they, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly. So
I just know it ain't us.
Right. We are not they. That's for sure. So that's why it's always a they. There's always a they. So, but yeah. One of the names mentioned in there, I'm not going to go into, but I've been familiar with his work since the 90s. I was in urban media for a while, worked my way up from a gopher, go fetch this, go for that. And so I came across a lot of people who we would now describe as whistleblowers and or conspiracy theorists. And most of them very much had sound research. So while they might attack certain talking points using the surface nomenclature or phraseology of these men, if you do an investigation yourself of the body of most of their work, you will find accuracy. And I'll leave it at that. Now, as far as coming up with the deep fakes and staged events, it can get a little bit complicated because you are delving into a realm where you weren't there, and you're also trying to surmise who and why some other entity might have decided to stage an event in which real people suffer real consequences, like death, for example. That is a theory that I think should have been kept out of the public media. And so, unfortunately, Mr. Jones caught one of the biggest lawsuits in history for his expressing those espoused beliefs of his. So yeah, there's some things that just are better left unsaid until you have all of your ducks in a row. And even with that, I think because we still actually have other forms of media, like ones that are printed, like what we're looking at in this article here. Sometimes you should just write your thoughts down and then lay out what you've gathered, as you would in a motion of discovery within or discovery documents that have been presented after a motion is filed for discovery in a court case. That way you could stay out of court for the other reasons because you've already made your case, and they could either take it or leave it. They could pick it up or they could throw it in the garbage can. But anyway, I didn't mean to go off too far onto that, but we see that there are people who have been clocking this phenomenon. David Icke, one of my favorites, he's always presented the people with what is referred to as the Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution. Chess, not checkers. You create a problem, anticipating, what the next step, which comes about as a reaction. And within that reaction, it brings about a circumstance where you can bring in almost totalitarian governance or rule, or you take away certain comfortabilities of life because of the necessity created by the reaction to the problem, and in anticipation of presenting a ready-made solution that was already thought of prior to the problem being released or experienced. So, if you guys want to look into the Hegelian dialectic, then you'll understand thesis versus antithesis equals synthesis. That's the formula. But yes, so we have The Simpsons and Black Mirror, and so for those of you who know, you've been around a while, the Twilight Zone and the various phases in which it was presented. My favorite was Rod Serling's, the originator. Hitchcock Hour. We've always had shows that delve on the borderline of almost telling you what's coming down the pike. Now consider these people being within the media or entertainment. They have rubbed shoulders and brushed elbows with the people in the military industrial complex, people in politics. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes what they're sharing with you, even in their presentation of productions or programs, is knowledge that they've gleaned through conversation, which some might describe as hearsay. And that's fine for entertainment value. And some of us can definitely see what we believe to be hidden or esoteric value type messages within certain productions, movies, TV series now is a big thing. Back in the day, episodes of certain shows. It's always been there as far as, noticing something that is deeper than surface at play within a narrative. Does it mean that that's what it really is? Only on a certain level. Maybe only if we were to look at it like dimensionally, or experiencing multiple realities simultaneously, but then the one common thread of reality being held as a singular consciousness that connects everyone. I'd love to hear your take on it, because I know you've shared some things with me in some shows that I didn't even catch because I wasn't looking for it. I'm like, oh, this is just blah blah blah, right? But you said some stuff to me about certain shows. I'm trying to remember which specific ones, or even music videos or whatever. Like, did you catch the like? And I'm like, nah, I got to go back and look at that. Why didn't I notice that? Wasn't aware.
Yeah. I mean, in some instances, it just depends on. It kind of depends on like what state of mind you're in, like when you're watching it. You know what I'm saying? You got to think too. Everybody has different depths of their mind that they look at things in. Some people might look at one angle, some people might look at another through another angle. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, just depends on what depth of your mind you're in. And then two, as far as when you were saying like the Hitchcocks and all that,
Right.
and like these people that may have rubbed elbows with like some of these people, like, and then use some of that information that they gathered for entertainment purposes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, so to that I will say we're talking about predictive programming and how it's kind of basically what we've been talking about throughout a lot of these previous other shows, the narrative that they want you to go in, right? Or the narrative that they want to spin. So uh that's what's always being shown. Now, something that may go in the direction that it's supposed to be going into on what they may think is a conspiracy theory, you may only see that once in a while, maybe twice, but you don't see them often. It's always few and far between.
Yeah.
And that's what you kind of got to look out for. I mean, that's when they say you got to look with your third eye, you got to use your third eye to see that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like that. I'm giving you this info. I'm blinking twice for help. You got to pick up what I'm putting down type action. You know what I'm saying? Or in the same sense, we can look at it from this perspective too. Just saying, I
Yeah.
haven't done it personally, but sometimes you got to be high to watch some of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and some of the jokes or innuendo, and I don't mean just like of the sexual or adult nature all the time,
Right.
comedically. There is some innuendo or insinuation, some undercurrent, undertone in certain films or productions that if you are not in that altered state of consciousness, it will not strike you at all. And then in the other instances, it'll be like, what made him say that? And you realize, oh, he was altered the same way I'm altered, because that is super funny right now. But if you think about it
Mhm.
when you're not altered, you're like, huh, that's kind of funny. But it's like it takes you into other realms and polarities, other levels of depth, perception, the key word. We always talked about that, and we've always brought that up into most of our episodes, where perception in the mind of the perceiver is stronger than fact or truth. That's not
Right.
my quote. I got that from Bishop Norman L. Wagner. Shout out to the home team, hometown. Uh, but he was my religion teacher. Religion and philosophy. So he always taught us, man, if you want to change a person's mind, or you want to see a person's mind being changed, look at how their perception is shifted. You have to change
And,
their perception in order to get them to even shift into a different mind state or paradigm mindset. But yeah.
and that's facts. I mean, it was a Channel Live song. I want to say what 95, or they even a bar was even 95% of reality is perception. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the hook went, "Is it a dream or a dream that we've been living?" So,
Facts. Yeah. what some people say, a simulation within a simulation within a simulation. So that when you deal with 3D or third dimensional reality, you're dealing with you becoming more and more aware of the other two realities in which you live. And then there's the truth.
Right.
And then you come to a point where you say, screw the truth, because truth is intricately woven together with lies to carefully conceal the reality which lies beneath. And this is something that the ancients knew. As Kanye says, something that the pastor can't preach, something that the teacher can't teach. Because if they were to do that, then part of your reality would be shaken and then ripped apart, because they're shaping a certain reality for you within your religion. And that's not to mock religion, but you're not meant to stay in religion. For those of you practicing religion, you're supposed to visit religion for a while, get your own grasp on reality and how you can live it better, and then move and shape your own reality. Then you become, as what some people will consider, the level of God, right? With a lowercase g, you know, or ruler. Sometimes we blow concepts out of proportion. And so then when we hear things like even conspiracy theories, we think the absolute worst. We can't see the other dimensions within even that. It's like, oh, well, this happens and this is going to be this. And who said that? Where do you get that from? You're dealing with one thing. Someone shared this with you. You found it to be true. Okay. You didn't realize that that was the truth. It shook your old truth or your old foundational belief on what truth is. No problem. What are you going to replace it with? But back to the topic, the full topic. These advertisers or these digital creators, content creators, I don't really fault most of them. They are on the up and up for the most part. Now you have certain sponsored ads and info, and I'm not knocking that from its surface level, right? But when you have, we used to call them jingles, right? Back in the day, commercial jingles.
Yeah.
But when you keep hearing a song in your head and it's from a product, you're like, man. And then it makes you start like, well, what is this anyway? Let me look at it. Now you're getting drawn in further. And then you can either stop yourself there and be like, oh, okay, this is not anything I'm interested in. Or you might be like, oh, that's pretty slick how they put that together. Like, that's really catchy. It caught my attention. And it served its purpose.
Yeah.
You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, the illustrious Lauryn Hill, she had a song a few years ago, well, a little more than a few, several years ago, called Consumerism. You guys should check that out. You familiar? I think you're familiar with that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She breaks it down, man. What the corporation of America has brought us all into the awareness of, if you pay attention. You know, like you said, there's different layers for different people because it depends on where you are, have the propensity towards going. Person that wants to keep it light. I've literally had people I've met, they say that that's it. Like they've determined for themselves, this is my personality. I don't deal with politics. I don't talk about that heavy stuff in the universe. Like I ponder some things within, but I don't discuss them with nobody. I keep it light. Respect.
Indeed.
You know that person knows themselves. And it doesn't mean they don't know what you're trying to bring to them. It don't mean they don't know what you know. They just don't discuss that.
Right.
They're not dealing with it. That's not their focus. And you got to respect that. That person is very self-aware, and they know what takes them down the rabbit hole will take them off track, for example.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had to learn those things over time with maturity and self-discovery. Read the room. Don't override once you read the
Definitely.
room. You override, you run risk of ruining relationships and potential opportunities at times. So,
Most
but yeah, man.
definitely.
Yeah, man. Predictive programming is a thing, even if you don't want to call it that. Look into the concept of it and shape your own perception. But just, don't be blind to the fact that there are people who are trying to plant thoughts in your head. And it's up to you whether you are susceptible or not once you become aware of that possibility, or a possible reality. Um,
Yeah, buddy.
there's one thing I think I wanted to. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Shout out to the Hunger Games. Um, let me go back a beat here. Okay, Alan Watt, who declines predictive programming as predictive programming, is a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes. Blah blah blah. It goes down. Okay. Now it names some series, television series, and some movies here. Um, so okay, Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and the oldest being from Futility. Information can be found on blog posts. Right. It goes on to explain that many of these conspiracy theorists have either made videos on it or have spoken on the subject. People who believe in this theory are mostly conspiracy theorists who think there will be a totalitarian government takeover, or are the more mild side theorists who believe tragic events are an inside job or completely fake. So I would say that while they're trying to warn the public in their own way, or convince the public that there is a threat in following these individuals' information, um, there's a danger in their warning, in their subtle, um, but not so subtle attempt to influence the reader. So I would just admonish people, always consider when you're reading any information or data from books, articles, etc. Consider the source. Something that my mother's always said to me. And what I mean by that is consider the research. Do the research yourself if you're that interested. If not, just leave it
Hmm.
alone. It could be a coffee table conversation piece when you're around individuals who like to discuss such information, but took very little of it to heart until you actually research who they've researched. The word research, of course, being key in that the information exists, it just has to be searched out again.
Word.
You know what I mean? So I'm
And
not going to
check
tell you.
more than one source on top of that too, because the one
Absolutely.
source you might have might be some bullshit
Or
to throw
connected.
you off.
Exactly. Because often look for the agenda of the author
Hmm.
or the contributor. If there's an article that's written by multiple contributors and they're not any one claiming more credit than the other for coming up with the information or the research on the information, check each source, vet each source, because yeah, you have people with agendas. It's just like when I read a historical book, anybody that uses the term ancient Egypt, I know that they're operating from a specific and certain bias, and it is racially oriented. You see someone use words like Afro-Asiatic. things like that. You have to look for the agenda. That who are they connected to? Who's paying for their fellowship to research, to do the study or the archaeological finds? Who's behind it financially? They're going to shape the information that's released to you.
Doubt.
You know what I mean? You know how many arguments that I could have looked at it like, oh, that person's wrong, and then I come to find out that certain things both of us were wrong, and in certain instances both of us were exactly right at the same time about the same point of disagreement, not seeing that it had to do with the sources.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of us knew the sources personally or could vouch for the source being any more credible than the other person's source.
Right.
So, but all of these things are affecting us through the addiction to the attention.
Exactly. It will draw your mind somewhere that you did not have planned for it to go. And again, it'll stay trapped in that mindset. And that's what your focus will be on.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of other things going on in front of, to the side, behind the scenes, and above your motherfucking head. And you ain't even knowing it. Because you focused on this same old thing that got you addicted to from all this predictive programming.
100%. 100%, man. So, yeah, man, it's already upon us. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, predictive programming. Um, some people call it Operation Mindfuck. Whatever your reference to it is, know that it's there. And in your own way, you have to combat those things once they reach a certain saturation point with you. Disconnect every now and again. It's okay if people can't reach you for an hour or two, or whatever time period you need. That mental health break is important for you. You have to make sure that you are regenerated and restored on a daily basis. Renew your
Hey,
mind.
the machine got a reboot. You got a reboot too.
Facts. It's okay to take a nap when you're tired, as long as you don't have anything else to do. So set aside a day here and there where you really don't have nothing planned to do,
Mm-hmm.
and allow your mind to reboot and recharge and get enough sunlight, get enough oxygen, get your blood flowing, get to moving sometime.
And even if you don't do that, if you can, take a 5-minute meditation.
Definitely.
Just channel your energy on one thing and sit in stillness.
Yes, sir. Get you some of these around you. They absorb the negative energy charges. I don't know if you can see this because of I don't have my green screen today. Let's see.
Yeah, get you some crystals, man. For sure.
You don't want
It
to
will
show up
do the
there.
it'll do the trick.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. They'll recharge you. They'll protect you at times from even your own negative self-thought. Cancel out those negative self-talk assignments that you cast out in the universe a while back.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Just cancel it. Speak it to be done away with. No longer a part of your thought process or vocabulary. Forgive yourself. Disconnect, man. Every now and again, just disconnect. And don't be predictable about it. Don't be going on Facebook talking about, for the next several days, family, I will be unreachable. Just go off grid as far as that goes.
That part.
And then when you come back, be like, oh my goodness, this last 14 days or 7 days has been a refresher for me as to what life was like and how more simple it might have been before everybody was keeping tabs on everybody and looking for everybody else's attention.
And on some real shit, if it really got to you, you ain't gonna go back to that shit and let nobody know, because you probably won't go back to the shit. You know,
That's
like, you know what?
a good point.
I don't need this. This is not control. I don't need this to control me. I'm cool without it. Peace. And don't even tell nobody you off it.
Facts. Facts.
You might check in every once in a great while, but other than that, tapped out of it.
Before I forget, I want to remind you all to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our shorts reels. Um, you know, shout out to the Schwable Room. We are a conglomeration. We are not just affiliates, but we are the movement, the channel, the network. Um, peace to Beat Down Brown. Peace to Old Man Ali. Peace to Miss Kiki. Peace to Ed 10. Peace to Big Ob, aka Sauce on Bread. You know, peace to all our supporters. Yeah, man.
And new viewers.
Yes. And I also want to give a big shout out to Peace, to T Manuel, Black Sun Shaman. Check out the website if you have anything ailing you or you just want to keep yourself on track with your health. Check out blacksunshaman.com. The website is up and full effect. You know, he's also my co-host on Beyond the Veil podcast. And shoot, man, we all working together to bring you the greatest and the latest in what's going to make you well, what's going to make you laugh, what's going to make you think, etc., etc.
We hitting you at all angles.
Well-rounded for your entertainment and educational purposes only.
That part.
Go ahead. You were about to say something else?
Unless y'all want to give us some endorsements.
Indeed.
We will take endorsements.
We are accepting those. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
For
And sponsors
sure.
and sponsorships.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this has been another deeper dive dialogue unlimited podcast with the splash specialist and the dive instructor.
Word.
And we will see you all on the next deep dive. Peace.